All right, so I was asked how do I go about making the decision to buy a stock, and so I'm going to show you some screenshots from some research that I was doing through the Robinhood app. If you're interested in signing up for Robinhood, I will put the link in the description of this video. If you're watching it on Instagram, it will be in my Instagram bio, and you can sign up and get a free stock to start testing things out. Now, once you're active, this is some of the kind of the process and my thought process as I try to make a decision on buying stock. So I actually prefer to buy low cost stock, or I also prefer to buy what they call fractional shares, which is if it's a more expensive stock, I'm able to buy just a part of a share. So you can invest like as low as $1 and get something like, Microsoft or, maybe like American Airlines or something along that lines, or Netflix or whatever it might be. So this is a look at some of the low cost stocks that I was looking at and trying to make a purchase decision on. So I came to this one, and I looked and I saw how much it was currently priced at. So what I look at is I look at the current price. If I already have stock in it, which I do with this one, I look at the behavior of the stock. Now, immediately people are like, oh, well, it's in the red. Well, almost all the stocks are going to be in the red. It goes kind of back and forth right now because we're dealing with the pandemic and, of course, the recession that it has spurned. It doesn't prevent you from making money on stocks. So that's something that you have to get out of your mind. If you don't believe me, just ask Warren Buffett. All right, so we're going to get to the next slide, which is more information on the stock. So in the first photo, I was looking at what happened today. This is what happened today. So it started here and then it dropped to here. But I want to see what has been the trend for this stock. So I went back to a year ago. So it looks like, probably 10 to 11 months ago, this stock dropped significantly. And then it stayed in this area. It dropped really low, came back up a little bit. Okay, so I'm getting some knowledge on what the trend is. All right. Now I'm looking here at what the analysts say. Most of the stocks will have analyst ratings, which is basically various stock professionals giving their opinion. And then it just tells you how many of them voted for which action. And it looks like most of them are saying buy. Another thing that I look at always is, does it have a dividend payout? So dividend payouts, if you don't know, is basically when a stock pays you. So no matter what's going on with the stock, you're going to get paid something on your investment. So that's something to keep in mind, that it's just extra money, right? Now, it looks like 56% of experts are saying to buy more of the stock, while 33% are saying to just hold on to what you have. Don't buy more, just hold on to what you have. And only 11% are suggesting that people should sell the stock. So now I have a decision to make with this information. So it looks like the majority say either hold on to what you have or buy more, right? It does not pay a dividend. So what I'm looking at with this stock is, in the future, will I have the option to resell and make a profit? Okay. So I'm noticing here that it had a major plummet, but that it had a recovery. And it looks like it's starting to trend upward in spite of the recession. So that's kind of a positive thing because it's tending to go higher. Now, if you research the company, you might want to research what this company does. When I looked them up, I realized they were medical related, and that they deal in equipment that does like radiology, ultrasounds. And I'm like, oh, well, they're going to be high in demand, especially with everything that's going on. I'm definitely going to buy some more. And so I did, because the stock has the potential to increase in value, as it's already starting to here. And it's just beginning to go up, as we saw, because of everything dealing with the quarantine. So I might be wrong. I don't know what's going to happen with the company, but that's just how you do research. All right, so the next company that I looked at was Coffee Holding. Now, the way that I find these companies in the first place is I look for lists of low cost stocks. I look for things that just intuitively I know are probably going to do well. So when I saw that ViewRay dealt with medical equipment. I'm like, okay, yeah, that's a pretty solid investment. As long as they're doing, good things as far as who manages the company, it should be fine. And you can look up the CEOs. You can kind of look at the news, see what's going on with them before you buy. Once you buy a stock, Robinhood will send you updates and news about the company. Okay. So this is one of those. I was looking for a low cost coffee related stock because, as we know, coffee is a staple around the world. This is a company that's likely to endure as long as it's led by somebody who's not totally stupid with their money. Okay. It's a pretty consistent product. So the first thing I noticed, right now is that it's at $2.97. So almost $3 a stock. As you can see, I already have stock in it. And I'm looking at today, it went up and down, up and down, up and down, and then it tanked. And I don't know why exactly, but it tanked. So go to prior. Now what we see is in the last 3 months, though, even though it had a bad day, but look for the last 3 months, it's been going up. See, it tanked here and it's been steadily climbing. So if you've ever looked at like a graph with a math equation, you know that the line would have done this. It would have dipped and then gone back up. So that's a good sign of a trend. Now I'm looking back to a year, I see that it had peaked. It was way up here. And look, it steadily was really high. And then right here, it looks like it tanked. And I'm not surprised to see where the timeline of this, it was approximately 4 months ago. Makes sense. The quarantine happened. So that means this company's stock was doing pretty good before the quarantine happened. And then it plummeted. And now it looks like they're doing some recovery. So this one, I definitely want to buy some more. So I did. I bought more of this one as well. Now, this is also one that does not pay a dividend. So I have to also hope that it just simply is more valuable in the future. So that when I sell it, I'm able to make a profit on my money. This is just a section of the page. Also on Robinhood, for each company has like a page for their information. You can scroll down and see the about page. And so you can kind of read a little bit about what they do. You can do this before you buy a stock too. You can look them up and see information on Robinhood. So it is a wholesale coffee roaster and dealer in the US. Its products are divided into 3 categories: wholesale green coffee, private label coffee, and branded coffee. So that sounds like a pretty solid, product there. And I'm going to try to pause. I apologize for the delay. I thought I had gotten a message, so I just wanted to check that. But let's get back to it. So based on the company information, this sounds like a pretty solid product. They've been in business since 1971. Because they've been in business that long, I might want to go ahead and check out and see how they're doing as far as transitioning between leadership. That's something that I'll do in the future. All right, and then we see here. Also, I want to show you here. It shows you your possible yield. Now, this is for a different company. This is for Aurora Cannabis. For each stock that you own, it will show you, if you sell today, how much you got from the beginning of today to the end of today. So because of where it started high today, based on where it was at the start of business for this day, I would have lost money just for today. But overall, this is your total return. This means from the time that you bought the stock up until now, if you sold, this would be your return. For me, the most important thing is looking at the percentage because it tells you a lot. So right now, I'm like a small scale investor. So this is what I'm paying attention to, is what percentage am I likely to get? So this is like almost 20% return on this stock. All right, so now we look at the trends. So as obviously today, like I mentioned, we saw that from the today's return column, this stock did really bad by the end of business today. If we look at the trend, once again, within a week, it looks like it was doing okay, and then it tanked for some reason at this point in the week. For the past month, still a downward trend. But if we look at the 3 months, it's actually increased significantly. And when I had bought in, it was like around this area where it was really low. So that's why my return is still so good. So if I had sold when it was here, I would have had a high return, but I'm going to hold on to the stock simply because chances are it's likely to continue to keep rising. So if I would have sold here and let's say in the future it gets up to here, you know, I that's a lot more of a return on my investment. So that's kind of what you do. You want to look and see, what are the dividends? If it's going to pay you something, what is the trend? If it's not going to pay you dividends, what is the trend? So you can decide, should I buy it today and maybe hold on to it for a while and then resell in the future? Like, what is the deal with that? I personally prefer dividend stocks because they do pay out. And if you're interested, I can send you my list of low cost, all the way from low cost to high cost dividend stocks. And if you're able to do fractional shares on Robinhood, you can do any of those, whether they're low cost or the higher cost stocks. But I'll send you the list if you're interested in getting payments every, either month, quarter, or annually from companies that offer dividends. So that way your money will basically pay you. And that's what they mean when they say make your money work for you. So once again, I'll put my link for Robinhood in the description of this video. If you're watching on Instagram, check it out in the Instagram bio. Peace.